Good afternoon, good evening, LinkedIn friends, HubSpot Nation. Welcome to another episode of Let's Build Communication with Clement. How you doing this week, man?
Doing really good, really good. Excited. As we just chatted, every day is a new Easter egg.
Yeah.
Easter,
Did you
Easter, is,
survive?
Easter is coming.
Did you survive 280 updates last week?
I haven't even started it really, so
Yeah.
I'm still on the safe side, but it's on my to-do list. It was just crazy days, a
Well,
lot of
this Friday,
ongoing stuff.
because I can't think of any better way to spend your Friday night. Friday afternoon, because it's my birthday on Friday and my wife is in Colombia and all my friends are on LinkedIn, I'm just be streaming all day. And in the afternoon, I'm gonna see how far I can go with all 280 updates on
Uh,
the Spring
uh,
Spotlight page. Um,
that will be a birthday party, yeah.
yeah, so hopefully it's a marathon of sorts. People can come in and you know maybe join the conversation throughout. But it's all we can do to keep up, man.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I looked at some of them, but it's just so many. I mean, I
well, it's
guess
fun
yes.
is we're about to go over one of the primary use cases that everybody wants to work very well, and it requires a lot of the updates that are coming out that continue to come out related to AI. We did a nice unboxing last week of the prospecting agent. I learned a lot. And prior to that show, and maybe after, but we'll see. Probably the last agent, that I look to use is that first touch point. I think is very important. But lots of different ways you can use this in the process, and ultimately, I think with the right amount of attention, the right amount of understanding, like how the system works, and how we can uh, fill in our CRM data, and now how AI is helping us make sure it's filled in. That's really the powerful stuff. All of this stuff starting to work together. We're going to have a lot of opportunity today as we go through it, just to kind of show a lot of new stuff that is supporting this process. Um, but that's where it's exciting times. I don't know how you don't get excited about what's happening right now.
I definitely am. I mean, it's every day is just a new eye opening, a new kind of FOMO for everything that is available, and on the other
Yeah.
side, it feels okay. You're just rushing from one new shiny feature to another, and you're just lost in the space in a way. But I mean, it's a great space to be in, a great time to be in that space.
Yeah.
And then I'm kind of taking the approach that just try things out, see how you can use it, um, and leverage the power that is coming down for us, everyone. And
Yeah.
as you said, no, AI is now on one side revealing all the challenges with data that we were not aware of, because our experienced eye just looked at it and it seemed fine, or you just filter it through your own eye lens. But now AI is just taking whatever is there, and AI is here to help clean it up, and then of course use it. But from what I'm seeing, it really is back to data cleanup. I think now, up until now, I always felt it's hard to justify data cleanup, uh, data hygiene. It doesn't really hurt. I mean, it's there. There are obsolete contexts. There are wrong contexts. There are contexts without context. There are no emails being synced. I just commented on one of the posts where one of the HubSpot experts was talking about. I mean, it's 2025 and people still don't connect the Chrome extension to their inbox and not sync emails. I mean, yes, you might not feel that, but if you want to be AI ready, I mean, you better start syncing data into HubSpot yesterday.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're missing out the whole point of leveraging the power of AI. And now I think we're getting to the point where the whole community will understand why you need to have data cleaned up, updated, complete, not sparse. So yeah, I would say a really exciting time ahead.
Yeah. No, I think some good points. And that's where, like, there was a post yesterday about the value of context. And my challenge, because what you often see from rev ops and marketing ops and sales ops is like, how can they not understand why it's valuable to connect their email to HubSpot? All the context, all the data just comes in. There's two sides to that, because there's an amazing amount of stuff that gets in the way of, even though your email is connected, it doesn't just freely flow into the CRM. It creates duplicate contacts. You've got to log in 10 times in the same day, which, you know, the power users and the people on your side, like, will do that. But the ones who, the like, you know, the hardcore salespeople that have been successful for a long time, they will get to the third login and it's uninstalled. Like,
Yeah.
they're done with it, right?
Yeah.
And so something that should be so simple, and this is where just a bunch of like IT stuff can get in the way, like everybody using different computers, you know, and I've always been amazed that unless you're sitting there watching real time, like, can be very hard to pinpoint where exactly in the process the disconnect is. So that's like the first side of it. But then the second side is, and I think we've talked about this before, obviously these salespeople have been successful without, like, the data. And this is ultimately when you say, like, the data cleanups, the value wasn't always there. It doesn't mean that they don't have context. It just means that the context isn't in the CRM.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they have it in their head, or they'll yell across the office to get it from the person they know, or they're just calling up people, right? And no matter how painful that is, which they'll admit, like, it's not the most efficient process, but they'll always come up with these reasons, like, oh, well, I get to talk to Clement when I have to call him 5 times each day. Like, Clement doesn't mind, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's known, right? They've been doing it for a long time. It gets the job done, you know, albeit painfully, but versus what we've been sold from SaaS and CRMs, which is, oh, everything's just going to get easier. And it very much has not worked out that way. So just because you tell me the data, like, I put the data here and now everything's fine, that just hasn't worked out, like, in practice, right?
Yeah.
So
it kind of backfires the whole promise of CRMs. You know, just use it, and you know it will kind of help you go through the process. It's not there yet.
Well, in 2023, I realized, like, a better case to make, because all the cases I was hearing and some of the cases I was making from 2017 to 2023 was, oh, it'll save you time. It'll save you, like, the meeting links. The meetings just happen and you save 4 emails and you save 10 minutes each time. And, you know, none of those were landing, or it was such a walk, right? Where you'd have to try different things like 10 times and you never know which one was going to be the one that, like, clicks the light bulb on, you know, for people. Could be templates, could be meeting links, could be snippets, right? All these different things, they just click at different rates. But what seems to work better is if they're reliant on somebody else, like, to do something for them. Like in the industrial manufacturing, there's often a separate team required to support the quoting process, right? And if their gripe is that it takes too long to get quotes done, that's often a path towards, oh, if you put your data here, now you get your quotes back faster. And almost everybody can get behind why that's a good idea, right?
Yeah.
Customer service gets better. So upsell, resell happens. And you get credit for that because you're the account manager. So starting to talk about outcomes from a, how it helps your neighbor perspective.
Yeah.
And as I was connecting those dots, it means that like if I'm a salesperson and I know that this process will get the job done, I don't necessarily care how painful it is, right? Like I will move through it. I will go through my Outlook inbox and spend an hour categorizing and coloring everything and making folders because that's the system I know. And if I do that, I know there will be closed won, business on the other side, right? So all that to say, getting all this stuff into the CRM now is what makes what we're about to show you work. Work in a way that's going to be successful, at least, for every business that tries, and approaches it from this perspective of we've talked a lot about foundation last week of setting up your value propositions, products and services, who are your target audience. And we left off at the point where we were going to start generating emails. So are you ready to show us kind of what that
Let's
looks
go.
like? All
Let's
right.
go and just walk through.
There we go.
So I created 2 agents and I haven't checked any of those emails yet. So it will be kind of the unboxing moment. We just keep those minutes to generate it. What I liked about when you're enrolling, you're kind of saying to which agent you're enrolling. So if you have agents for different purposes, post webinar for early access sign up, no show, close loss revival, whatever you have, this is where you actually specify kind of the context. So you have different call to actions, different angles, and that's how you can make it more and more relevant, which is I think the goal of everything. So in all those cases, I started playing around with early sign up. So I wanted to see how you can, for someone who just fills out a form, see where it can get instead of, I was just, I signed up on a form for early access from one SaaS company, and I got 4 emails asking if I booked a demo or not, and with a link, and that was plain text. Hey, I noticed you haven't booked a call. Here's my meeting link. 4 days later, I haven't seen you, booking a call. Here's my meeting link. Hey, is this still relevant? Here's my meeting link. Hey, here's my meeting link for the 4th time. Nothing else. So I said, okay, there must be a way to do that better.
So that's
And
not effective, is what you're saying?
I mean, it might be.
No, it's not.
I mean, it might be, but I'm not sure it is. it might work for some, but I think that those days are gone where you can just play a numbers game and the volume game, and now getting emails delivered. We talked about that, at the previous conversations. It's now getting more costly to deliver one email, to get permission to deliver one email, to grow your contact list in HubSpot. So make sure you treat everyone in your HubSpot as good as possible. And prospect engagement, I think is going in that direction. These are early days, but it's definitely going in the right direction. So let's see what the first one does. So 3 emails. So it nicely introduced the scheduling with a hyperlink. Okay, that's interesting. And back to what we discussed. You need to have data in the CRM. It here relates to the demo, so to the meeting link. Interestingly enough, the demo is scheduled for 24th of April, so it's in the future. So the data, for some reason, it's not used correctly, but it's pulling data from the HubSpot, which I think is what I believe is how you stand out against anyone else who is doing cold outreach with publicly available data. You have their interest, you have their form submissions, you have previous communication, you have emails, So this is good. This is definitely going in the right direction. And, every email is, I guess, different for different people. Yeah. So it's not templated, which is really good. I think with AI and the power of it, it's the days of templated messages are gone.
Yeah.
We should stop using hey first name placeholder and then a templated message for each and every one. Let's just read for a bit more for that. So it's linking in the job title, company name, using the verbiage from the offering.
This is our like job title. I'm just gonna read this out loud because this will I think there's still work to be done.
Yeah.
Hi Peter. It was great to see your interest in Celestial 3.0 during the recent demo with Clement. As the global channel and alliances director, that title, read out exactly, it just, does it ever hit? I mean, how cool does a title need to be for that to work? Because it's like dead ringer that, this is not handcrafted, which maybe we're going to get to the point where that matters less. But it's almost like if you, the more flags there are to say oh, this is robotic and this is the system working, right? You're at risk of
and
it's just that would never
template.
I would never say that in conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
the whole title for sure. Yeah.
Staying ahead of the curve with personalized outreach can be crucial in building strong partnerships. Celestial's integration with HubSpot can empower your team by transforming generic templates into impactful messages, ensuring each outreach resonates with the recipient. Would it be worth your time to meet? And you mentioned that there is a demo already scheduled with this person for the 24th.
Yeah, let's take a look. Just the activity timeline.
Because the dates and timelines are super interesting to me when it comes to AI. Because even though, and this happened today, I do daily updates for the daily morning show. I say the date at the beginning of the show. Everything about it has the date and then it outputs it as tomorrow's date. And it's just, and I think it's more of how it's, date and time is very subjective in terms of the human experience. And it's starting to make sense for me to why that's one of the spots where AI might just, it's very hard to create a formulaic, response that the calendar asks, right?
Yeah, I've seen often with AI generated emails, there's a huge struggle for AI if anything is happening in the future. It just assumes it happened, like in that case. So from the activity timeline, there is a demo scheduled for 24th of April, but it just assumes that already happened. So it feels it doesn't have that time perspective to put into the account. So it just kind of assumes, okay, that already happened, even though it didn't. And of course, it's strange to say that as Clement is sending the email that during the recent demo with Clement, again, probably there is some mismatch in the context behind it, but but I think what is encouraging here is it really takes into account the activity timeline, which goes to what we discussed. Now you should have the communication sync to HubSpot. You should have meetings being logged. You should have call attempts being there, notes, meeting notes, AI note takers. HubSpot has now one, which I heard. It's getting there, like prospecting agent.
Baby steps.
Yeah. But it's getting there. like prospecting agent. So it's more and more easy to now bring all the data, all the context, and if AI can then use that data like it's using there, this is how you can really relate. And then how you as a person, if you have unlimited time, you would definitely relate to the demo. Ideally, if you have some notes, if you have the meeting notes in the activity timeline, you would relate to what you discussed. What were the questions there? What their objections were? So you can address those. You can share the right resources to address those. And then AI can definitely do that really nicely. If you have a full FAQ written down, AI can easily connect the dots. Okay, these were the objection, or that was the question. We know how to answer that. Just match it automatically, and then I can just reword it, review it, and voila, we have a really good communication piece written.
Yeah. Speaking of rewording and reviewing, can you click on edit email?
Yeah.
And let's click on the bottom right, like the AI icon there. Yeah. I'm just curious. Like, I want to say something like, this demo hasn't happened yet. Can you update the email? Like, so maybe rewrite. But you've actually highlighted a portion. And it's already suggesting a change, which is the right suggestion.
Yeah, let's just do it like that.
Yeah.
So
okay, so I guess we gotta highlight the whole thing. Yeah, because it should get rid of that second ask about meeting as well.
Yeah. Yeah, now it's reworded perfectly.
Yeah. It still says, how about we set up a time to chat at the end, right? Yeah. So maybe you can just put us out of our misery here and show us how it really could work with creating emails.
Yeah. So yeah,
using AI.
Yeah, this is going in the right direction. What I did is, for that exact same person, I wrote the sequence, more or less with the same instructions using Celestial, which is basically doing, what prospecting agent is doing. And this is now the output. Without, that was prior to meeting was booked. Okay. Again, the approach we took is, you provide really the guidelines, which is contrary to prospecting agent as of now. You just kind of, provide what you want to do. Here you can navigate through the whole system of how and what every email should highlight, what resources to use. Again, you provide the whole product description, different pain points. This is what I mentioned I might be missing in the prospecting agent is really per persona have different pain points mentioned and different value propositions, because CRO should and does care about different things than SDR person or RevOps. So it doesn't make sense to highlight the same person, the same thing, as well as for the materials. We are helping users to define for different like persona to be used, and I can say C-level. So when a person that you're writing an email for is a CRO, it will use that resource to mention, and if it is a RevOps person, it will use a different material. So again, that's how you tailor messaging. Other than that, the whole idea I think is somewhat similar to prospecting agent. That's why I'm really, as I said, excited about prospecting agent. So we're now all educating the whole ecosystem, the HubSpot user base. And I, deep down really believe this is how, the communication should be done. We should all get rid of, templates. In the same way, you have a subject line unique for every person. The same is here, Peter, let's transform your sales outreach with AI. Michael, how personalized are your partnership outreach efforts? And this is all done automatically based on who that person is, where they work, based on what they're doing, what they, I guess, talked about in the press release, partnership communication.
So is that
AI helps, relate even in the subject line from what it found on the website.
so? It's based on external research it's doing.
Yeah,
right.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's not in your notes anywhere that you've highlighted.
No. This was done automatically by the agent.
Yeah.
So
Now
figuring out that company
that's
raised.
the stuff where I'm curious if you can like lean towards the external stuff in certain situations when like there's lots of reasons you want to or will have the exact job title, but it will never like read off like well. So if you can highlight the fields that just never come across well, instead of like trying to transform them in some way, like you can focus on different pieces of the kind of the information mix if you know what AI is accessing.
Yeah. What I'm looking forward, the same with prospect engagement and with our system, is kind of the explanation, the data source for that, so that understand where AI is pulling that off, especially at the beginning when you're not sure about the system, where you're not fully comfortable that it's not making it up. It would be good to just have a source, a link, like like you have with ChatGPT and all the other AI models. When you're doing web searching, you have the links to the source, so you can validate the input. If you have that, you can easily change that or tweak it in the most meaningful way. But the research is done, and it's not done in a way that you have a chunk of some information sitting somewhere. It's already incorporated in the email.
Right.
So now for me, rewarding that, it's fairly simple. But if I would need to figure out that I need to congratulate them for Series A, I mean, I can spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And this is how the AI can really help better communicate with each and everyone.
Right. Click on research company on the bottom right.
Right. So now I would need company URL, which I don't have here.
What about, can you just highlight, I guess, view research evidence? There you
go. Where was it?
In the dropdown, view research evidence.
Company summary, web summary. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So you have that, source of information available right away.
Oh, links.
Yeah. Oh, well, we have it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
This is awesome.
I mean, this is how you'll, start trusting AI.
Yes. Yeah.
This is so much needed. Yeah. Really good job, HubSpot, for that.
Yeah. I remember telling those teams like right away, like, it's great, like that you can help me prepare for a meeting. But if I don't know, like where the external information is coming from. But two, also they told me it was a mix of internal and external. And if I didn't know which one like was internal or external, like, yeah, I can't trust it. Like,
Yeah.
So, and that's where at these moments, I mean, let's say you put all the work into getting the subject line right, and then they read this sentence and it's not accurate, like you're done. Like
Yeah.
they're never opening another email from you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
This is, and the same goes, for trusting AI. If 99 emails are perfect and one is completely off, you're done. I mean, you lose trust to the whole system.
yeah,
Because you always suspect it's wrong, even though it's 99% correct, or it feels good. And yeah, stuff like that to just show you the source of information, to give you additional information, to trust the system that it uses the right information, that you would as well, is how you keep the user calm and adopt that kind of approach.
yeah. And this is where, like, if you can just give yourself permission to not automate the whole damn process. Like, even if you see a story here and you rewrite the whole email, like you're saving at least 30 to 60 minutes probably.
Yeah.
That would have taken you to find that story that's super relevant, right?
Yeah.
And just that, like, that's where it's done all the work up to this point. Now you as the human can decide, okay, this story is super relevant, like versus this other random press release that has been described here, right? And that's where this differentiation, they're going to get a bunch of emails talking about their Series A funding, right? So how can you go this last mile? I like the way that Matt Bowling has been talking about it lately. Like, this is where, like, don't ask it to go the whole way for you. And this is how you can collaborate with AI to really provide that experience without all of the work. I mean, all of us have been wanting to do stuff like this forever.
Yeah.
And we know that when we do take the time, conversion rates go up, like the experience is better, but it's just not scalable the way we've had to do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now, instead of trying to, cut corners and find tools that will make it scalable, like AI takes it from the other side and puts us in a position to just be like, here you go, just change a couple words.
Yeah.
And man, how powerful is that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is really the direction where everything is going. And soon, all the emails will sound like human. With new models, 4.5, for example, it's really, when you rewrite, if you just throw that email into 4.5 and just say, rephrase it so it sounds like a real human, it will tweak it that it will sound better. So AI will be capable of doing all that automatically. So my guess is, with a system like Prospecting Agent and Celestial, you'll initially maybe review, and it's happening with our users. You will review for the first day, the first 15 contacts, what it produces, but then you'll start trusting it, and you will just go full autonomous mode, because the alternative is you do that manually and you don't have the time and the brain power to review every email and rewrite it. But even if it's a bit odd, something like that, fully personalized, related to what you discussed previously at the call, it's way better than any templated email, no matter how polished the verbiage is. So if the upside of doing that and using it, it's just so much bigger than the potential downside.
Yeah. And we're so close to being like, verbally giving verbal commands. You're like, hey Breeze, send an email to Clement, keep it cash. I just want to know how he's doing. And that, like, it will nail that email.
Yeah.
Like in 3 to 6 months, probably. So, and that's where I think you talked a little bit about leveraging the power. These foundation, like there's ways to, like, if you put the effort into the templates themselves, like the situation is changing constantly, and how quickly will the template, be out of date, right? Or be not relevant, or need to be updated for your new product. And instead, like working on the other part of the framework, which is the instructions and the guardrails and the guidelines, then as AI continues to get better, the output naturally gets better at the same time. So have you, are you impacted by 4.1 at all? Is that out yet?
I saw it's out yesterday, but I haven't tested it yet. So not sure. We'll see,
Yeah.
but we'll definitely try it out as soon as we can. But yeah, as you said, templates are static, and bringing something like that into a template is just impossible, because you won't always have, even if you would have that as a placeholder that will pull in from a property, and you're adding data, writing that sentence in a property, it won't always feed further.
Right.
Which means you can't use a template to do the personalization. You need to rewrite a whole email. And that's why you should get used to, I think, writing the full email, not only the tokens. And I'm now playing around with onboarding users in a way that I just ask AI, okay, go through the website and basically tell me which 5 blog posts are the most relevant for someone who just signed up, and for which persona that is relevant. And then you have dynamic context of what is using, and then you do a research. Okay, then combine that with marketing trends, and leverage information from the reports, and link to those reports, and then within one email you merge your internal materials, external materials, press releases, what maybe HubSpot what is saying, what Deloitte is saying about marketing trend, and then how that relate to your system, and blend it into what they already talked with you at the last meeting, what they were asking you, why your solution is good. And oh, hey, by the way, our blog post or webinar is just talking about that. All that fused into a natural message. This is where AI can really help do a much better communication, and no template can ever do that.
Yeah, we've seen them all. Try like every email we get where the brackets have not been replaced, right? Like all that stuff goes away, right?
Yeah. So yeah, this is, really exciting time for everyone in the revenue team. I know we can all level up how we communicate with every customer.
So from here, we're just clicking the start button, which we don't have to do now, but
start the outreach. There we go.
And then it's like a sequence.
Yeah, and it goes out to under my name as I've been enrolling those contacts, and when you review, you go to the other one, quickly review, and through that, you send fully personalized messages, within minutes after enrolling someone into Prospect Agent, which is amazing.
Yeah. And at some point, like, it shouldn't want to be using sequences. Like, let's sort of just replace stuff like sequences. I think it's going to be so interesting to see how the portal starts to kind of melt away. And the kind of effort that's been put into things. And that's where like sales ops, man, if your bread and butter has been creating templates and workflows and like this is why I've been saying it for a minute. Like all the stuff that hasn't really made sense as to why they haven't added it to tools like workflows and sequences. Has been about this, in my opinion. Like at some point, AI is coming, and what we're seeing right now. Like let's say you didn't have access to sequences, like you would like even if you do, like why would you use sequences instead of
Yeah.
instead of this, right? Like,
Yeah.
um,
I mean, yeah, we are bringing that level of personalization to sequences and to workflows. Prospect agent for now is you kind of need to enroll into that agent, and you don't have necessarily have the whole value of branches and everything which you have with workflows.
right.
But no, that level of personalization you can easily bring also to workflows and everything. So you have different branches. I'm also seeing workflows, not the data management workflows, but the ones for communication can now be super simplified, because AI can now you had maybe a branch for different location, and then you had a branch for different personas, because you had a template written for CRO, and then you had a template written for SDR and all that. Now you just have one linear workflow of 5 emails, and AI is anyway writing for each and every recipient the whole workflow. So the whole management and update of everything is just becoming easier, and you can dedicate your brain power and resources to other stuff, which brings way more value than that.
Yes, spend your brain power on something else. I like the way you put that. And I'm just checking on my side to see. Yeah, like we already have Breeze actions in workflows. How long before we start to use these agents, like associated with
Yeah.
all this automation? This is where it's just spend time on the basics and the foundational stuff to help. Like you could do so much testing right now. This doesn't mean you're gonna all of a sudden start sending out emails, because there's stuff that has to be, solved for here. But
Yeah.
you can learn. Like you can learn about what's happening, and if you do see the same thing over and over, check your CRM data. Like do
Yeah.
some confirmations. Is everything associated? I remember when I first started showing the target accounts page to people, like there was no faster path towards showing that not everything is associated the way it needs to be.
Yeah.
Or there's duplicate companies, because I've been adding all my deals to this company record and it's not here. Oh, right.
That's why.
Yeah. So just take a moment to dabble in. If you're an admin, obviously don't put it all on yourself. Like try to get some interest from the sales teams here, because that's where some of the best ideas are going to come from, instead of like kind of going behind the scenes, setting up the agent and then delivering it and then being disappointed when they're like, what the hell are you doing here? Like that doesn't make sense. I would never say that. Right? How often do you ever get that as a pushback?
I mean, yeah, part of it, yeah. Also,
Right.
I would say that, for a sales rep now, back to the initial thought we had now around bringing all the communication to HubSpot. The ones that have all those notes in their brain and not in the CRM, with that, you would immediately see that it's writing bad email because it's not using the context you have in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean it's not leveraging. It just doesn't have access to what you have in your mind. So this is kind of, again, I guess, a motivation for a salespeople to realize, okay, yes, if I will consistently put all my communication to the CRM, I will have those emails being written for me, because it will have the context. Now it just can't be. So all that, yeah, AI tools are showing you the potential end game if you have the data ready.
Yeah. And in that context, right? In that
Yeah.
context, it's okay, and often best when it does come from human hands and human mind, because you're the guy that remembers that meeting from 2 weeks ago. They said this thing, and now you just have to put that one word like in it. You could leave the rest of the email the same, and now all of a sudden it makes that connection. And that's the kind of collaboration. Like if you can wrap your mind around like the value of that, um, really powerful tools at our disposal, people, for amazingly, affordable prices in terms of what it's allowing for and the time that it's saving. So thank you for finishing off the unboxing. Some very cool stuff we saw today. So if you're out there and you're seeing that little Breeze icon, you see the prospecting agent. I think it's in the sales part of the navigation now. Check it out. Start playing, understand how this stuff works, and find those opportunities. And let's grow. Have a great week, everybody.
Take care. See you next week.